And now, aviation weather around Alaska.
Starting the day off on Wednesday here with a lot of VFR over interior Alaska, Arctic coast here right on down Kenai Peninsula to Kodiak Island. A little bit of leftover lower conditions there for the eastern Alaska range, eastern Copper River Basin, and then a trough here out over the Chukchi Sea producing some marginal VFR with some areas of IFR there for the western Arctic coast, and then a more extensive area of IFR here with a weakening front that's stretching out to the east here from south of the Pribilof Islands across the eastern Aleutians Alaska Peninsula. And for the afternoon, just marginal VFR out here over the Bering Sea and most of the Aleutians. A little bit better conditions off to the west, definitely to the north here. VFR now into all of the interior. Then up here over the northwest, some marginal VFR that extends down toward Shishmaref into the Bering Strait. And for the southeast coast, IFR over toward the eastern border. Otherwise, marginal VFR. And then for the day morning hours Thursday, we've got IFR now down over the southern southeast coast with VFR up to the north. VFR most of interior Alaska, except here over toward the eastern Alaska range and on the north side there. Tok, Northway, maybe in Abesna, those areas. But VFR here all the way down into Bristol Bay, Kodiak Island, into close to the Pribilofs, northward to the St. Lawrence Island area. Otherwise, the Aleutians, southern Bering Sea, marginal VFR, so not too bad. For the afternoon on Thursday, IFR kind of slipping up to the north here to the eastern Aleutians, maybe the western Alaska Peninsula over toward Atka Island. Otherwise, VFR here, again, interior Alaska, marginal VFR possible central western Arctic coast down to maybe Kivalina, and good VFR now over the interior and the southeast coast, marginal VFR down to the south, VFR up to the north over to Yakutat. And for passes, Aniktuvik and Adigan tomorrow, VFR becoming marginal VFR, some moisture comes in from the northwest. For those two passes, and the Lake Clark and Merrill, though, VFR for rainy and windy. Isabel, VFR. Mentasta, though, marginal VFR, turning toward VFR into the afternoon. And for Tanita, VFR. Portage looking good, open on either approach with VFR flying through there. Portage Pass, but Chilkoot and White, look for marginal VFR. Freezing levels here, 2,000 feet now, all the way down to Dixon Entrance with the surface just to the north there over the southeast coast. But off the coast here of the mainland areas here, Kodiak Island has the surface down to the south, and then about 2,000 to 4,000 feet here out over the south central Bering Sea into the eastern Aleutians. And for icing, not much of any significance out here, possibly some light icing for Adak there, remnants of some moisture associated with that weakening front. And then for the southeast coast here, look for areas of possible isolated moderate mixed icing there, mainly over the northern and southern areas of the southeast coast. Moving on to the jet stream, good northwest winds here across the western interior into western Cook Inlet up to, 95 knots here along the northwest coast and over Kotzebue, 65 knots for southern Cook Inlet. Those turn west-northwest at about 75 knots over the northern panhandle. Out to the west, not too much in the way of winds here at jet stream level. And at 9,000 feet, big area of high pressure here over the northern Bering Sea. Winds blowing around that center. North 50 knots here over the northwest interior. East, lighter east winds, and then picking back up from the southeast over the northwestern Bering Sea. And low pressure in this area produces 55 knot winds south of the west central Aleutians. And then westerlies here just clipping the southern southeast coast at about 40 knots. 3,000 feet showing pretty light winds for the Panhandle into the Gulf of Alaska with a weak low there sitting over the southern Gulf. Light winds over the interior in under this high pressure area to St. Lawrence Island. But northeast winds here, 30 knots, turn easterly at 35 there near the Pribilofs, and then back around to the south-southeast at about 45 knots farther to the west. And then a storm system down here just south off the map there producing 60-knot winds just south of the east central Aleutians. Turbulence-wise, nothing too significant tomorrow expected. Along the southwest coast, could see some isolated moderate turbulence there, and the Pribilof Islands, as well as the eastern and central Aleutian Islands.